double booked yourself before? I'm guilty of this more often than I care to admit. See, there are times when I lose track of what days or what time certain things are at, and I end up committing to more things than I'm able to attend. You see, this one 4th of July, I went to 3 parties in one day, all over the suburbs of Chicago. And I ended up not really enjoying the fireworks through the windshield of my car as I drove 45 minutes to my next destination. It was in that moment, watching that lackluster show with none of the fanfare and excitement fireworks are supposed to hold, that I realized I wish I had just chosen one party to attend, to simplify, to savor, to enjoy. I once heard a very important piece of wisdom from someone, and this is what she told me. Every time you say yes to something, you say no to something else. And I've used this phrase as sort of a guiding principle in my life, especially when it comes to making decisions about opportunities in life. I like to stay busy. I like to keep a very filled social calendar. I love to travel. I love to say yes to new experiences. I like opportunities for continued learning. I like meeting new people. I like very often to say yes when I'm invited into something new. Some of us are like that. We like to say yes. But what I had to learn, and am still in the process of learning, is that every time I say yes to something, I say no to something else. For example, when I said yes to 3 different parties on one day, I said no to enjoying a good fireworks show. And I said no to really spending quality time with the people at those parties. This was a day that was filled with needless stress for me because of my inability to say no. We've all felt this way before, whether you're a social butterfly like me or your calendar is filled with obligations you just can't seem to get out of. We've all felt the stress of being pulled in too many different directions. Saying yes is important, but saying no is equally important, because we need to learn how to say no to things in order to make space for the yes things. There were times even when Jesus had to say no. Doesn't that seem unbelievable? I tend to think of Jesus as this person who was filled with endless energy and endless ability to just do more. That's not really true. Jesus was a man. He was human, just like me and just like you. And just because he didn't sin doesn't mean he doesn't get tired. In fact, we know for certain that he was sometimes tired and sometimes hungry and sometimes needed to get away from everything to pray and to recharge. So we're going to take a deeper look into one of those passages found in the Gospel of Mark. Mark 1, 29 to 39. After Jesus left the synagogue with James and John, they went to Simon and Andrew's home. Now Simon's mother-in-law was sick in bed with a high fever. They told Jesus about her right away. So he went to her bedside, took her by the hand, and helped her sit up. Then the fever left her, and she prepared a meal for them. That evening, after sunset, many sick and demon-possessed people were brought to Jesus. The whole town gathered at the door to watch. So Jesus healed many people who were sick with various diseases. He cast out many demons. But because the demons knew who he was, he did not allow them to speak. Before daybreak the next morning, Jesus got up and went out to an isolated place to pray. Later, Simon and the others went out to find him. When they found him, they said, "Everyone is looking for you." But Jesus replied, "We must go on to other towns as well, and I will preach to them too. That is why I came." So he traveled throughout the region of Galilee, preaching in the synagogues and casting out demons. Are you catching what's happening here? Jesus is saying no. He's saying no to something good, healing the sick who had come, in order to say yes to something better. So after Jesus heals Simon's mother-in-law, the word is spreading, and all of a sudden there are way more people around, and Jesus continues to heal everyone. And then the next day, even more people have gathered, but now he's nowhere to be seen. And when Simon finally finds him, they say, "Everyone is looking for you." And underneath what they're saying, there's this subtext of more people need to be healed, a lot more. But Jesus says no. And I think we can learn a lot from the reason Jesus says no. Don't you think he felt torn about that decision? I can't imagine he enjoyed letting people down. He knew each and every one of them needed to be healed. He knew they were suffering. And yet he said no. Why? Because he understood his purpose. It's right there in verse 38. That is why I came. He performed miracles not to heal people physically. That wasn't their greatest need. Their greatest need, and our greatest need too, is for a Savior. And so stopping along the way to heal all of the physically sick would have been a good thing, but it would not have been his purpose. His purpose in the miracles was to point to the one who could save us from something much worse than being sick or crippled or lame. His purpose was to reveal himself as the Son of God and to tell the people that he had come for us. What's your purpose? I'm guessing a lot of you don't have a fully formed answer to that question. Many adults struggle with the very same thing. You might be asking God that very same question as you figure out who you are and what he has wired you to do. You might not know what your purpose is yet, and that's okay, but I do want to encourage you to spend some time thinking and praying about it. Because as you find your purpose, it can help you create a filter. Here's what I mean. A strainer, like this one, it sorts things. See, the smaller things sift through the holes, and the grate catches the larger pieces. This is a filter, and we all need filters in life. So here's how it works. Let's say this box of stuff is everything you're invited to do, all the opportunities. There's a lot of good stuff in here. National Honor Society, French Club, A-Push, spring break with your best friend's family, college visits, summer camp, mission trips, an after-school job even. See, over and over again, there's opportunity after opportunity, and it all looks pretty good. So how do you sort through it? Well, your purpose becomes your filter. This is who God created me to be. This is who I want to be. And so we use this filter called purpose to sift, to sort out the very best from all the opportunities. If you've been feeling stressed lately because you've been pulled in a million different directions, maybe it's time to start thinking about the filter of purpose. You see, God didn't design you to say yes to everything. He designed you for a purpose. And as you grow in your faith, your purpose becomes more clear. Let's be more thoughtful with our yeses and our nos. My hope and my encouragement to you is that you can start to learn your purpose and that you can start to use that as a filter so that all the opportunities that come into your life, you'll be able to decide which ones meet that purpose and which ones don't. And we can start looking more and more like the people God has designed us to be.